Hey guys, welcome to our next LinkedIn Live. So glad to have you guys on. This is the live of Think Beginning, Not End. Really excited to have you guys on. And I know you're going to really enjoy our guest today. I've got Anthony Hart from Hart Well Being joining me today on LinkedIn Live. You guys will get loads out of this. I'm going to bring Anthony into the broadcast right now. Now, I've known Anthony for a long, long time, and I'm really excited to bring him in. So, just going to add Anthony in here, and hopefully I get this right. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Should have Anthony. Can you hear me? Have I got you in there properly? Perfect. Good to have you guys on. Hey Tundi, hey Josh, thank you so much for coming on. Just so you guys know, from the outset, LinkedIn is still in the testing phase. There's a few little things I can't do normally through this app, but yeah, I do have the comments running over there, so I'd love to see you guys on. If you want to throw a comment in there, Anthony's going to be happy to answer any questions. So without further ado, Anthony Hart from Hart Well Being. Anthony has a truly inspirational story. I've known Anthony for many, many years. It dates back to my days as a builder. In fact, the building that's right behind me, I helped their family build for their pet stock business at the time. Anthony, I'd love you to jump in and introduce yourself to our guests here on our Think Beginning Not End Live on LinkedIn. And Anthony, you know, this has been a journey for you. You know, can you give everyone a background of where it all started? You know, and I know everyone's going to be super interested to what you're doing now, but for anyone out there, you know, you've made it your life's mission and purpose now to help many other people out there. So, you know, where did your journey on this path start? Yep. Hey, Anthony, can I just, sorry, mate, um, can you just check your microphone? I've got a couple of messages saying that they can't hear you. Yeah. Can someone give me the thumbs up if you guys can now hear Anthony? Yeah, if you guys can give us a thumbs up of a technical problem, I just want to make sure that you can all hear Anthony on your end, please. Okay, Tundi said there's nothing there. Must be on my end. I'm just going to retry this. Sorry, guys. I apologize for that. I'm going to fix this up now. A second, Anthony. I'll fix this up. Do. Okay, can someone give me the thumbs up if you guys can hear Anthony now? As anyone, sorry about this, guys. I'm really sorry. Bit of technical problem. Anyone can hear Anthony now? Can you guys give me the thumbs up? I'm really sorry about this one. Yeah, I can't see. No, I've still got a note. Just me. So sorry, guys. Just hold fire with me. We did do a really good test before this, and I just want to make sure we got this covered. Sorry, Anthony. Apologies about this. Let's just double check we got this. Sorry, thanks for staying live with us, guys. We are working on fixing behind the scenes. Do you want to give that a go now, Anthony, and see if these guys have got you? Can you guys just, if you can hear me, just please give me a thumbs up comment over here. Just waiting for someone. Okay, boom, we can hear. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Ian. So, guys, I'm just going to jump back to the start here and just let you all know that Anthony Hart's joined us today. He's sharing his inspirational story and journey about the way he's changed his life and has now put it into his mission and purpose to help thousands of other people. I've known Anthony for a long time. We've known each other from back in my build days. And in fact, the building Anthony's sitting in right now, I remember building it must have been 2008, 9, around that period. And just a pleasure and honour to have you on. I know the challenge Anthony's been through, and he's going to share that with everyone today. I know you're all going to want to get to the meaty part, which is Anthony giving you the tools and tips on how you can manage your life and mental health and well-being. Anthony, we just go back to the start, mate, and how this journey started for you, please. Yeah.
went up even to my doctor. And it was there I got given an antidepressant. 8 days later, I got given that medication and got a job over in Sydney. So it was a very bad period in my life where I'd got myself privately into a bad spot, but the whole time just keeping it confidential. Now, I went over to Sydney that November. I lasted about 8 or 9 days. And from the witness statement at the course I was doing, I was either very drunk or very tired in the course. I was falling asleep. And the medication that I was taking, Simon, was just knocking me out so much that I couldn't get to sleep, and it would wind up my heart. And so on the Friday, November 7th, I got asked to leave the course in North Sydney. It was with one of the major banks. And I then, from North Sydney, got the ferry across the Circular Quay, back to my hotel, where I lied there for 2 or 3 hours. So that's kind of what happened. Now, fast forward, being on top of that building, I survived. I landed 11 stories down on there was a pulled out balcony with a canvas awning pulled out. And at quite a fast speed, I hit into that awning and then woke up about 3 or 4 days later after they found me. I've lost you there, Simon. I can't hear. Sorry, you're back on. Sorry, Simon, I can hear you now. Simon, I can hear you. Yes, I can. You're back. Yes. Yeah, it was. So I arrived back into Adelaide after about 3 or 4 months. You know, for me, the trigger was getting a job that was up to the expectations of my job in London. And I was doing a very unique job importing brand new cars from Europe into the UK. And, you know, it was in the right place at the right time. I enjoyed it. And the currency was very strong over there. But back in Adelaide, I was desperate to see my mates. I started to withdraw socially. Now, when we don't feel that great, we just avoid going out socially, number one. Number two, if we do go out, we make sure we drink extra beers at the start to get that confidence juice going. And thirdly, decision-making becomes just very erratic. You just react very quickly to stuff. And and generally just didn't look happy. If you looked at me on the face to face, I just was sad and things weren't going great. Now, I finally got asked to go to the GP. Now, I went to my parents' house one night, Simon, for dinner, and I hadn't slept for 3 nights. Mum saw me and could see straight away that things weren't right. And she said, Anthony, go to the GP. This is just like a health issue if you break your foot. Go and tell them how you're feeling and be honest. And that's what I did. I went to the GP. And even then I was selling myself to the GP that things were all right. I didn't want to tell her that I wasn't sleeping. And I eventually got put on an antidepressant. And then 8 days later, I got a great job offer in Sydney. And it required me to train over there for 2 months and then come back and work in Adelaide. So I took it. I jumped on the plane, went to Sydney, and then for those 9 days in Sydney, when your mental health is really poor, you're probably operating at 30 or 40% capacity. And I went to this course in North Sydney every day. There's no way in the world I could get through the content and the extra stuff that people were having to learn on a brand new job. And so after the 9th day, my manager came into the room and said to me, words to the effect of, look, go home and get a decent night's afternoon sleep. We're going out that night for dinner at the Rocks. And so I went home. I got sent home at 2:30 on the Friday. I remember walking down to McMahon's Point, catching the ferry back into Circular Quay, and going back to the hotel to sleep. And that was my plan, was to literally get as much sleep as what I could. Now, that's when those events unfolded. I rang the GP twice, went up to the roof. I always say that people don't want to die. They just want the pain to go away. And for me, the pain for the 2 or 3 weeks up to my suicide attempt was so bad that you just want things to go away. I survived that attempt. 11 stories down, there was a jutted out hotel balcony with a canvas awning pulled out, and that's where I landed. The 2 or 3 days later, I was found by paramedics. I was sent back to St. Vincent's, and then I woke up in the hospital. And that was the start of what was probably a 3 or 4 year recovery period of rehab.
Yep. I'm just hoping, can you hear me, Anthony?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. No problem, Simon.
Can you guys? Yeah, okay. All right. So, guys, I hope you can hear me. We'll see you both. Really apologies on the technical issues that I've had. Thank you very much for jumping in there, Josh. So just as a recap, guys, Anthony, we're now at the point where, you've jumped off essentially a 21-story building, and you were lucky enough to survive. I mean, that's incredible on its own. What does it look like from there for someone, mate?
So going from there, I was in Sydney for a few months in intensive care. Then I got stabilised and brought back to Adelaide. It was then I came back to Hampstead Rehabilitation Clinic, which is a clinic just outside of North Adelaide. And it was there, Simon, that week after week I'd get male friends come in, and they would start to open up to me as to how they were feeling. They were blown away as to me disguising what was going through with me, but they would start to share their own demons. And I would talk about 4 steps to better mind health, which were 4 basic things I had to follow, which was to exercise, track my sleep, talk, and completely avoid my alcohol. So they're the 4 steps that I put together during my rehabilitation that I then put into what is known as a tracker. And it's a very simple tool that you can use to track yourself.
Yep. Anthony, like we've all been through this, and it's well documented that as are the worst. We don't like to share some of these things. For you, when you were lying there recovering, and your friends were sharing these things, what did it have a big impact on you that so many guys that were close to you or people that knew you, maybe thinking or feeling some of the things as you had been? I mean, was that a shock for you?
Yeah, look, it was. It was probably every fifth friend, Simon, right? And, but what was the real shock, and it's amazing how wide our network is when something like this happens. I reckon over 2 or 3 months, I had probably 10 or 11 of my network who were very bad, but they'd all say something like, I wasn't as bad as what you got to, Anthony, but I'm going down that same path. And the first thing that came to my attention was, God, why the hell didn't I open up to my mates before I got so sick? They've all opened up to me, and I actually got really pissed off with myself because I thought, geez, it's not so uncommon, being significantly stressed or anxious for a long period of time will slowly get you more clinically depressed and anxious. Now, as we know, any life trigger can come up, and you'll be confronted with pressures. Now, COVID-19 is a classic example. A significant life challenge, and it just gets back to looking after those basic things to be able to get yourself through it.
And Anthony, what are some of the little signs that people should look for? I mean, I'm just going to be really open and share some personal stuff here, but for me personally, the signs for me is obviously an heightened level of stress, but also when I start like really doubting myself and sort of being hard on myself about small things which I can't change. Like for me, I know that's an area that when I start going, I know I've got to get out and do some exercise on a personal level because I just need to change my state, change my environment, and if I don't, I find myself starting to go through some of those things in my own mind anyway. So what are some of the key triggers that people should look for, Anthony, and not just themselves, but those around them?
Yeah. Look, when I do talks in factories and workplaces, people always ask, what are the 7 signs? How do I spot that Simon's not doing that great? Now, you rarely, according to your normal personality, okay, you're rarely happy, right? So if you're always happy and sociable, you withdraw socially, you just will go back into a shell. Small things will trigger aggression. You'll just get really fired up over something really basic. So you fire up with no apparent reason. You're always agitated. You're not in a calm, methodical state. You're just not centered. You're not happy. I think you're always worried. So people you are constantly worried and constantly looking at the negative side of things if you're in a more of a depressive state. So it's the negativity and doubting. I know when I go through these periods, I don't back myself as much, and I doubt myself. Now, and this happens throughout my life. When you're top of your game and you're happy, you just make decisions and things are you just get on with it. But when things aren't that right, you won't back yourself. I think another classic couple of signs are you.
Yep. And
hello.
Yep, I've got you, mate. Keep going. I can hear you. I think we can all hear you, and apologies if there's a little bit of cut out there for everyone.
I think a classic sign is that people who are very anxious, they talk really fast, and they'll be doing a million things at once. You know, you'll see. I know when I first came into this building, even 5 years post my recovery, Simon, they called me the Moose, right? So there was Nick, Dad, and myself lined up on a desk, and one of the things to do, you're just not settled. You clear your throat. And I would do that every 5 seconds. So in an hour, in a minute, 12 times a minute, you'll see me clear my throat, change my seating position, cross my legs, get up and go for a walk, sit down. You're just all over the place.
Yeah. And you know, your environment around you is really important as well. And if I, you know, move to you know, your 4-step process now to better mind health. I mean, you know, that they are some really obvious things, and you know, I guess let's just talk through each of them. I mean, obviously, you know, cutting out alcohol is a massive one. From my own experience, in 2018, I did that over a 3-month period, and I did some intermittent fast at the same time, and I did get a lot of clarity in my mind by not having alcohol as part of my life. I do enjoy beer, so I do have beer now and a few drinks. But Anthony, obviously, alcohol is a really big one to look at cutting out first. Yeah.
Yeah, look, it is. And put really simply, when people came up to me in the hospital, I would, you know, I'd listen to their problem for a minute or two. Right now, I was quite broken. I had 24 operations, and I saw a psychiatrist and psychologist 130 times. So I wasn't in a real good place to sit and counsel you, Simon. But all I would say is, right, these are the 4 things that I've got to do to get any chance of getting my life back. Number 1, cut out alcohol completely. Right. So if you're going through any life challenge, doesn't mean you give up alcohol forever, but rest, reduce, or remove alcohol. Number 1. Number 2, exercise. So doing 30 to 40 minutes of exercise at least 3 or 4 times a week, at least. Now, I try and go daily, and COVID-19's made it a bit hard. I've started doing bike riding, and swimming is my thing. So all the pools in Adelaide have been shut. So exercise. Number 2, exercise. Number 3 is sleep. Now, getting good, decent, consistent sleep is it's like petrol. You can't live without it. And getting off of electronic devices after 5 or 6 o'clock at night, that is one of the worst ways that your brain just can't switch off. So get off of computers, play with your family. This is a really funny one. Don't drink anything after 7:30. Now that's water, alcohol, anything, because 50% of the reason why we get up halfway through the night is to go to the toilet. Now, by emptying your bladder before you go to bed, it means you've probably got more chance of getting right through. So now the 4th thing, which is very important, which is talking. So just like if you'd come into me at Hampstead, Simon, and confessed how you were feeling, confide in one single friend that you're going through all this stuff, right? And it takes guts, but confide in a really close, trusted mate. And then number 2 is to go straight to your GP. And unlike what I did, be blatantly obvious. Be honest with how you're thinking, feeling, and behaving. Because then the GP can refer you to a psychiatrist and a psychologist. Now, I was too proud to even tell my GP how bad I was feeling. So they are the...
Anthony, is there something in that, I overstepped the mark, but was there something in being too proud to want to ask for, or not ask for help, but actually share what you were really feeling? Like, can you reflect on that now? Is there something you with everyone on that? Because most of us can be like that. We don't want to share, what's really going on at times.
Oh, 100%. And that's twofold. So I talk about how to, in our workshops, how to get the right friend connect person. Now, it's not your best mate or your friends that you see at work every day. It's someone, one of your old friends for when you were a young boy, Simon. Maybe you might have one or two old friends from years ago. Now, those people you can implicitly trust. Now, why didn't I do that? I didn't, but implicitly share everything, because a problem shared is a problem kind of halved. But when you go to the GP, they're doctors. Like, how are they going to fix you up if you don't go and tell them? It's like going in with your a broken knee and not telling them that it's one of the bones popping out, or you're getting these jolts down your leg, really bad pain. Of course, you'd tell the GP that. But when it comes to mind health, we just simply think that is off limit. And I think that's one of the biggest passions I've got, is that 60% of people who unfortunately lose their life to suicide had never spoken about the problem medically with anybody. And that's ridiculous. You think that, you imagine there could be a mind health issue. Yep.
Just quickly, Anthony, for anyone that has joined us live on the feed, Anthony Hart from Hart Well Being sharing his own personal from jumping off a 1-story and surviving, and thank goodness you did survive, Anthony, and is now sharing his life's work and his life's mission and passion to ensure that no one else goes through what he did. And Anthony's just been explaining the 4 simple steps to better mind health. So yeah, I mean, I guess sharing that with people, being open with your doctor. Like you said, most people aren't willing, to perhaps say what's going on inside, and it's really important that we are. And I know that you talk to thousands of people across the state of South Australia in particular, and I'm doing work every time you speak, are there people that come up to you that share something that I've never shared with anyone else? That they might have shared their wife, their brother, their sister, their mother, or their father, after your talk, actually come up and share something with them, which, in turn might actually put them on the right path?
Yeah, look, it does. Generally not. It's almost always this way. They won't do it on the night. I give out wristbands and phone number. Now, if there was 100 people there, generally always get 3 to 4 phone calls straight away, like with the person desperate to actually just share what they're thinking with you. Now, it's, I'm not built to counsel or be a psychologist, but just getting it off their chest to say, shit, buddy, thanks for doing the talk, because I've been feeling like that for the last 2 or 3 years, and all I'll try and do is confide in them to try and find someone in their network that they can go and share that story with, and then get straight to the doctor, and just deal with it like a health issue. Because if you broke your shoulder, you'd go and get it fixed up. But if there's anything with your head that's not quite right, we just don't go till it was too. Unfortunately for me, it was too late, Simon. I waited 6 months of bad health to get very sick.
Yep. I'm just going to quickly jump into these comments. I'm just going to acknowledge a couple of people through LinkedIn that have come on. Just want to say thanks to Josh, Carol, Kathy Ann Jones. Thanks for coming on. Carol's tuned in from Ireland. We've got Adden. Thank you for coming on. Again, Michael Cunningham. Really appreciate you coming on. Gail Jackman, thanks so much. Jonathan, great work, guys, for sharing this stream. Real talk. So thanks there, Anthony. Again, Josh, great tips, Anthony. And I've got Daria from our team in Turkey also that says hi. So tuning in from Turkey, mate, that's awesome. And also he says, this is amazing how far you've come back from Anthony. Keep up, keep sharing your story, supporting others, finding their way too. So just a few people on the LinkedIn stream, and I'm sure Anthony and I will get in the comments after and make sure we get back to everyone on some of that. So Anthony, you are now you're now the sole director of your new of Hart Well Being with the LIFEBACK tracker app, which correct me if I'm wrong, people can download that for free, and it does give them the 4 steps. LIFEBACK tracker app, Anthony.
So the simplicity LIFEBACK tracker simply tracks 4 steps that I talked about to better mind health. So it's downloadable free from the Apple or the Google store. And it very importantly, it doesn't require any username and password. So it's 100% confidential. I built it, my left arm is damaged from my fall. So I built it so that you can swipe across and score every day your number of drinks that you drank the night before. So you got to be honest with it. Number of drinks, minutes of exercise, hours of sleep. And the 4th thing, there's a local research institute in South Australia called SAMRI, the South Australian Hospital Medical Research Institute. They put together the 8 questions that you just answer 8 questions. And it guides from happiness to sadness, how you're talking each day, and it gives you a score. So it's
and what's some of the feedback?
Sorry?
Yeah. And what's some of the feedback you've had from people, Anthony, that have taken on the app, they've been using it? You know, I'm not asking you to share the name here. You know, is there a few other inspirational? I'm sure there are. When someone's downloaded that app and it truly made a difference in their life, you know, immediately.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's not rocket science, right? So if we take, now I'm making this up, Simon. So if I say to you, Simon, if I say to you, right, for the next 30 days, I want you to have 0 alcohol. Right, 0 alcohol every day. I want you to at 12 o'clock jump in a car, go for a swim for 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Number 3, I want you to get ready for bed at 7:30 and get decent sleep. And then on the talking piece, I want you to every day or week, I want you to tell people exactly how you're thinking and feeling. And if things aren't right, go to your doctor. Now, doing those 4 things, you will be able to better confront life's challenges. So, you know, I get people ringing me after probably 2 weeks and saying it's made a massive difference. Now, of course, it just does. Now, it's not rocket science that if you don't drink alcohol, I think the 2 big things, alcohol and exercise, they kind of both work in reverse. So if you do lots of exercise, it gives you the happy chemicals, and the alcohol, which is a depressant. If you stop alcohol, you will feel happier. So even just doing 2 of the 4 things without changing the trigger in your life will make you feel happier.
Yeah, I know from my own experience. You know, I've actually this year I got back into running, and it was when I was back home in Adelaide at Christmas time, and I enjoy running for lots of different reasons. And I know I'm a totally different on the weeks when I run at least every day. I feel better. I feel different. I love doing it in the morning because it just gives you all that energy for the day. And I think, you know, with how busy I've gotten, hopefully there's one thing everyone can learn out of COVID-19 is you can make time for other things. And I'm probably the worst example of it. You know, you can make time. Well, I've got time to go for a run. I've actually got time to switch off at night time and not be on screens, not be on phones, and actually get a decent night's sleep so I wake up fresher the next day. And I probably should be listening to my own advice here a lot more, but it's 100% true, Anthony. You know, exercise in particular makes a big difference. I noticed it with myself.
It does, and it's interesting. So everyone goes through life's ups and downs, and I'm a highly driven, anxious person. So I've, you know, over the last 15 years, I've had ups and downs, and anytime I look at what's going on in my life, there's always one of those 4 things that I'm not doing. Right? It might be that I'll start staying up at night too late on the computer, or I don't drink because I had an acquired brain injury, but if I have the occasional drink, you wake up the next morning and you're just snappier. You know, it just affects you, and I should know this. I should know this better than anyone, but everybody lets these basic things down, and you know, it's just a matter of picking those things up. So, you know, my message really is for people to really put themselves in a better spot to be able to confront the life's challenge. So it doesn't fix up anything, but it puts you in a better place to be able to hopefully overcome it and confront it. Because if you're in an anxious, depressed state, whatever your trigger is in your life, you'll come at it more aggressively than if you're happier and calmer. You know, it makes a huge difference. And COVID-19 is a classic example of, you know, our life has completely changed, and it's how we present ourselves in life that makes us either get through it or, you know, not cope with it as well.
Yep. So, Anthony, just want to quickly go back here for anyone who's joined us late in the piece here. So we've got Anthony from Hart Well Being on, and today with everyone, you guys will be able to watch this on replay or it go YouTube channel as well. But his story of you know, surviving, jumping off a 21-story building in Sydney, and he's now made it his life's mission and purpose to make sure that everyone has the tools available to them so they don't go down the same path that Anthony did. And thank goodness he survived. I know you had a lot of broken bones and all the rest of it, but mate, your work is truly inspirational. He's developed an app called the LIFEBACK tracker, and it's the 4 simple steps to better mind health. And please, guys, you know, all of us will know someone, all of us will have a family, have a colleague that we work with. You know, today I've given a few key things that you should look out for if you see a change in someone's, you know, in their state, the way they behave. Anthony, just again, mate, really quickly, what are some of those key signs people should look out for?
So some of those key signs, the person that you recognise are different. They're emotional and teary, way more than they are normally. Number 2, small things just trigger aggression. And so someone will just snap and be unhappy. Their demeanour is different. So if you think of someone years ago,
you
know, being the life and soul of the party, all of a sudden he's got his eyebrow, he's serious, he's not happy, always looking at the negative side of things. And they're just common characteristics of someone who, over a long period of time, is starting to feel not as good as they are mentally. I think drinking excessively, that's a hard one to pick, but you avoid going out socially.
Yep.
So Simon, if things weren't going great in your life, you'll withdraw socially. You just won't be at the pub, or you won't go to the football match. And it's just strange. But if you do go, you'll make sure you drink plenty of confidence juice to get yourself to disguise it. So those classic signs. I think the most important thing is, if you do find someone like that who isn't their old self, don't be afraid to go up to them and approach them and actually try and have a chat to them about it. And I'm an Are You OK ambassador, and I think there's a very good way to do that. And Are You OK has got 4 really simple steps to do it. And they're very easy to learn. And
Yep.
It's just a matter of really identifying someone who's not doing great, pulling them aside, and working out how to ask them that question. Just, Simon, you haven't seen yourself lately. Is there anything going on? There are subtle ways to ask the question.
And Anthony, your app, the LIFEBACK tracker, it's so easy to find. You obviously just go to the Google Shop or Apple Music. You look for LIFEBACK tracker. You can start using it straight away. It's just a tool that's available for everyone to be using immediately. On behalf of our entire audience, Anthony, I really want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story with everyone today on LinkedIn. And it really is inspirational. Obviously I have a personal connection, that dates back with your family, and I know it well, and it's awesome work that you're doing. And to put it to your life's mission and purpose, I think if anyone out there now is struggling to know what they should do, or not know what direction to go in, I'm going to share some of the clips of yours from YouTube over the next few days, and everyone can just go and watch them. And it's a real credit to you, Anthony. And I just really want to say thanks so much for coming on again and sharing your story with us. Where's the best place people can find you, Anthony, if they want to go and check out your work, what you do, how to get in touch with you, maybe to engage you as a speaker? If you're a business and you want to get someone like Anthony in to talk to your workforce, particularly in recovery mode from COVID-19, there are people out there with big challenges in their life, whether it's a change to employment, whatever it is. How can people reach out to you, Anthony, and work with their workforces Australia-wide?
So, you're breaking up a bit there, but you can either go, if you go to our website, Hart Well Being, heartwellbeing.com.au, or LIFEBACK Tracker, lifebacktracker.com. Either of those websites, you'll get through to a comments page, and in any Google search, if you just type up LIFEBACK Tracker, we'll come up in most of the feeds. We kind of own that space in that area. And my phone number is on there, and anyone's welcome to give me a call. I've spoken to about 18,500 people the last 3 years, and anyone can give me a call. It doesn't take more than 3 or 4 minutes to take a call, and I've built some great relationships by receiving phone calls. So I'm happy to share my phone number. You can put that up there if you like, Simon. And this is a human thing that we shouldn't have to be going through, and it's my passion to make sure other people don't go through it.
Yeah. Again, Anthony, thank you so much for coming on. Look, guys, Anthony and I will try and get into the comments at the end of this across some of the platforms, whether it's on LinkedIn or if you guys are watching from Facebook or YouTube. I'm certainly going to put some links and stuff in there, so you can go and find Anthony's company, Hart Well. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Anthony, for coming on today. I hope you guys got something out of it. Again, I sincerely apologize for the technical difficulties. There was at least 8 minutes of them, and I do apologize for that, guys. I will get on top of the again broadcast, but I love hearing your story again today, Anthony. I want to get you on our actual podcast stage, but with COVID-19, with changes to the way we work, people's employment, even just not having a job, that it's so important that people can hear a story like yours to know that there is a way forward no matter where you are. And I think everyone can agree that you've shared that with everyone today.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, we'll leave it there. I'd love you all to give a big thumbs up in the comments if you can for Anthony joining us on this line. Just a quick shout out to guest on Thursday. At 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time by John Lees. Now, John was the sales and marketing director of Schwarzkopf Australia. He's going to be talking about customer service and sales. And in fact, John's going to be talking about food sold. So that's on Thursday. But again, thanks so much for coming on, Anthony. Thank you guys for tuning in wherever you are. Us little difficulties. And as always, please think and see.
Thank you.